and welcome to the Blythe Ray Business News. Today we're joined by Nigel Robinson, CEO of Central Asia Metals. Nigel, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, Megan.
So you've just released your full-year results for 2023. Can you provide us an overview of this?
Yeah, I'd be delighted to. We've announced these results, and I'm very pleased to say that we've come in with some strong financial numbers. We did actually announce earlier in the year our production numbers for last year, which, just to remind the audience, was 13,816 tonnes of copper from Kunrad in Kazakhstan, 27,794 tonnes of lead from Sasa in Macedonia, and zinc was 20,338 tonnes of zinc. So a good operational performance. And also, I must add, a very good safety performance last year. We only had one, which is one too many, but we had one LTI over the course of the year, which resulted in what we call a lost time injury frequency rate of 0.4, which is well within our target. So a good performance, safe, strong production numbers, which led to the financial numbers we announced today of a revenue of just north of 200 million at $207.4 million, and an EBITDA number, that's earnings before interest, tax and depreciation and amortization, of $96.5 million or 47% EBITDA margin. That leads to an important number for us, Megan, as you know, which is the free cash flow number of $57.5 million for the year, and allows us to announce today a full year dividend, or the final dividend of 9 pence, should I say, which makes a full year for 2023 of 18 pence. And this is slightly above our policy, which, to remind the audience, is 30 to 50% of our free cash flow. And it's above the policy because we're still looking for growth opportunities, as you know, and happy to deploy capital when we find those opportunities. But at the moment, we haven't got those. And so we're happy to return money to shareholders for their loyalty in supporting us. Those are the main numbers, really. We still maintain a strong balance sheet. We have no debt on the balance sheet. And they finished the year end with $57.5 million in cash. And I guess the final thing, really, is that during the course of that year, despite everything going on site to produce the copper, zinc and lead, we also advanced our capital projects well, both at Sasa and at Kunrad. At Kunrad, we completed the solar power project, which we started in the beginning of the year and finished it in November and commissioned it. That cost us about $3 million. And over at Sasa, we made very good progress on our transition projects to transition to paste fill mining. And we spent about $14 million in the course of the year. So a busy year, good numbers, and delighted to report those numbers to the market this morning.
Great, thanks for that, Nigel. And how will the completion of the paste backfill plant and initial phase of the central decline at Sasa benefit the operation as a whole?
Well, Megan, as you know, when we first acquired the mine, we did a review of how we thought was the best way to operate the mine into the future. And as we go lower in the ore body, we're finding we're getting slightly different ore body. The lenses are narrowing. We get higher geotechnical stresses. And also a key factor of where the mine is the management of the waste, the management of the tailings and where we can place those. So the transition projects is eventually threefold. It's the paste backfill plant, it's the central decline, and it's a dry stack tailings plant. And as we've now commissioned and is operational the paste backfill plant, that will enable us to make that transition away from sub-level cave mining into the deeper parts of the ore body, where we'll be doing cut and fill mining and also long hole stoping mining with paste. So we now have those facilities to action that, and the benefits will be, it will enable us to get a longer life of mine, better extraction or maximum extraction of the resources from the ore body as we go lower into that ore body, safer method of mining than sub-level caving. And also one of the key things is the management of tailings that we've talked about in that constrained area for the mine. In the future, we haven't yet finished the dry stack tailings plant, but later this year we will finish that, and we'll have three methods of managing tailings: either putting it back into the voids through the paste fill mining, putting it on the surface through dry stack tailings plants and into what they call cake on the surface. And we're finishing off the landform this year so we can place it in an organized manner, an engineered manner onto the surface safely. And the last element will be put it into the tailings dam that we currently have, but extending the life of that tailings dam now out to the end of the life of mine, which, with all the work we've done, has extended it out to 2039 now.
Great, thank you for that. You touched on it just now, your business development strategy. Can you tell us a little bit about the progress you've made over the year, and in particular an update on the ongoing work with CAML exploration?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big focus for us. As you know, we have two very good projects that I've just mentioned, generating good cash flow, but we recognize that we need to grow the business. I think we did something like reviewed about 37 opportunities last year, 17 NDAs, 7 site visits, And we still haven't found that transformational project, but there's a lot of work going on that, a lot of activity from the team to look at various opportunities in the marketplace. One particular thing, and just to remind the audience what our strategy is, we effectively have got a two-pronged strategy. One aspect is to use the balance sheet and the money we have in the balance sheet for earlier stage exploration projects. And the other one is a more transformational deal, like another SASA that we did 6 years ago. But on the earlier stage projects, we did invest into Kazakhstan in a company. We set a company up called CAML. We set it up with a very experienced group of geologists in the country who use historical data and certain satellite tracking information and geochemical and geophysical techniques to actually identify targets. They're a shareholder with us. That company has been set up such that we're an 80% shareholder. They're a 20% shareholder. And if we find something to develop further, ultimately that will result in us becoming 100% shareholder with them on what's known as an NSR return, so a net smelter return from the ultimate production from that particular exploration project. That's clearly quite a long time in the future, but hopefully that's what we'll end up doing over the future years. So we've put quite a lot of investment into that. We currently have 2 licenses we've been granted in the country, and we've got another 5 that are in process to actually, hopefully we will actually acquire those licenses.
Thanks, Nigel. And as part of that business development strategy, you've also announced an investment into Aberdeen Minerals. Can you tell us about this?
Yes, I'm actually delighted to tell us a bit more about this. I've already mentioned CAML, which is a bit more mature now in terms of what we've been looking for in Kazakhstan. This is a little bit closer to home. This is a copper nickel exploration project in Aberdeenshire up in Scotland. We got made aware of the guys who are running this process and the CEO and this project, should I say, probably midway through 2023. We've been talking to them since. We like what they're doing. They've had some encouraging results. They're now going to a deeper pocket zone. So as I say, it's a copper nickel exploration project. And we're suitably enthused to invest some money into that particular project at this early stage of exploration. So the deal we've announced is effectively investing £3 million into the project to give us approximately a 27% stake in the project, with a warrant to invest a further £2 million further down the line in about 12 to 15 months time, depending upon exploration results and the result, the output from that particular first phase of the work, to take us up to around about 35% ownership of that particular project. So it's early stage exploration. It's in line with our strategy. It's the metals that we do like, and as I say, we've got to see site. We went up on a site visit. We've met the management team, obviously done our due diligence, and we're happy to announce this morning that investment as part of our exploration strategy.
Brilliant, thank you. That's a really good overview of last year, but what can we expect over the next 6 months or so?
Well, I think next 6 months is very much more of the same. Obviously, we have to focus on safe production at the 2 operating sites. We will finish off in the course of this year our transition projects, and just to remind everybody, threefold really. We've finished the paste backfill plant now, and that's fully commissioned and moving into operations. We're operating on the central decline, so that is operational, but there's still about another kilometre to develop on that particular central decline down to the 750 levels. And the last piece of the jigsaw effectively is the dry stack tailings plant, of which we've advanced it quite significantly over the course of the winter and early into spring. We've got the concrete groundworks in place, and we've done a lot of the earthworks on the landform, but we do have to finish off that project and commission it in the summer of this year. And then by the end of this year, everything should be fully operational and fully commissioned, and we'll be making that transition into paste fill mining. So that's something I think the audience can look forward to, and obviously a lot more activity and focus on finding that transformational opportunity for us. So a lot of focus on business development.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Megan.